All right, we are in. Welcome, everybody. Here is what, well, I don't know how many times I have to keep saying I don't know how the game's going to go for it to just be a thing that is just understood. I can probably stop. So we are here in what I think is going to be a fun game. I mean, we got HUSKSUPPE always, at least he's playing excellently, even if games are over quick one way or the other. He is a fantastic player. But part of this was chosen just because of... I found the name choices a little humorous. So, I mean, over here we have Soup on Ra. Ra is obviously getting his fantastic empowering. He is just focusing right now on the monument, which is granting that empowerment to everything else. Priests can also, of course, empower, but he is choosing to actually search around with the priest, and I'm sure we're going to get some obelisks down at some point. But on the other side, we have Farms OP. Farms OP playing Oranos instead of what I guess you would call the most farming-oriented god of the game currently in Ra. Obviously, you can get like not only his god power, but Shadoof and some other bonuses. Even if you went fast, you could then get whatever Bast's special power is actually called. So I mean, you can get a lot of options over there, but Farms OP has instead chosen Oranos, and I'm sure that he's not changing his name a lot, and this is more of just, you know, he's gonna play what he wants to play to have some fun. Not everybody wants to play farms every game. I'm at least guessing not everyone wants to play farms every game. These two might meet up here soon, and well, although this will go well for the priest, he doesn't do enough damage right now for it to like really matter. Even if he started to attack this oracle, that oracle would just be able to retreat back over to the base with absolutely no issues. But looks like Farms is going to be able to get a good sight on what exactly is going down here soon. Already got a temple going down. Not quite one for Soup. I don't know why I check temple timing so much. It's just something that interests me in these games, is when exactly are they choosing to actually throw them down versus getting some extra resources up. I mean, obviously you don't like really need them down until right before you want to get up. You can almost do them up to the last second in a way. So you can obviously vary your timings kind of safely based on that, especially if you just want to get a few more bills before you actually start the process up. This past week I've been seeing a lot what can be the effectiveness of delaying the age up even slightly just to get another 2 or 3 vills out, you know, take another 30 to 45 seconds that way, and then have that extra production happening throughout the second age. Obviously, it's going to set things back slightly on the whole front of getting to your military units out and being able to push or defend. But sometimes that extra eco can actually set you up really, really nicely for either getting early into the third age or getting some extra upgrades online so that when you start producing military, you're actually basically just as strong. Sky Passage being used for that secondary hunt to make that happen nice and safe. For people who don't play Oranos, Sky Passages are only 5 favor, so if you have your like oracles out moving around, it can actually be quite safe to do them. One oracle has been promoted to a hero. We do have Arrows of Heracles. His ranged attack damage is up, and he's going to immediately also go for build time minus 10% with Texas of Emotep. That's actually going to be pretty much all around fantastic throughout the game. Especially for like some of the larger buildings. Like if he decides to just go for a second TC, 10% off of that time is actually like pretty huge. Interesting to see obelisks like this one. He could just be looking out for people coming around, but even for that, I wonder why he decided to put it so far back and not like here. Here's more of where I would have thought, or something up here where you could then see if people are going to attack through this left side and see it quite safely. So both players are up to the second age, to the classical age. We've got Oceanus for Oranos for Farms, and over on Soup we do have Ta. So we'll probably see Shadoof. Well, I guess we might not see Shadoof quickly if Soup isn't going to go for like fast farms. Instead, we are going to get Axemen coming out. Looking to possibly defend. I don't know if he's... Well, I mean, Soup can get aggressive sometimes, so I wouldn't actually be surprised if he's going to go for some early pressure, even with Raw, and it looks like he is. He's moving out. Our farm should be ready enough. Well, I guess farms might have a harder time defending as he's choosing to go around. Soup will, of course, notice because the obelisk was attacked, and so is transitioning over. This is going to actually go super well in this favor because farms units are so split apart that each one's going to go down pretty handily to this group. Even if farms brings these people together, okay, he decided to get those all out. Could turn around and take out this priest if he was to notice him, which I don't think he will. Third artifact actually coming up for him, though. Reyes Crown. So town center costs are reduced, combined with that building time reduction. And he could actually get like a very quick TC uptime if he wanted it. Sky Passage will, of course, keep this all safe, even if Soup pushes in. And this is one of those things where it's like, even if you take out the Sky Passage, it's like, how much did you really get out of that? Because it only costs 5 favor. It's not like a huge amount of build time. That is kind of the strength of Oranos and being able to just use these to pop back and forth. You get 4 of them up at a time. That in itself is quite strong. And is smartly choosing to just go this route. Soup going for a lot of upgrades. So he's really looking to actually fight things out in the second age. Both of these copper upgrades, I'm pretty sure we saw the shield, the pierce armor already come out, and then both of the slinger upgrades as well. Which in a lot of ways, oh, interesting. So both Shockwave and Carnivora was used. However, Soup decided to just pull his units out. Did he go all the way back into his base? He did. Kind of awkward that he had these still stuck out, which had to get pulled back manually, and one ended up dying. But very unfortunate loss of both Shockwave and Carnivora. That could set farms a bit back for this upcoming fight, as it looks like Soup is actually in the lead for this. The Caladria, rather, not Calavera. Caladria can help out a little bit, but we'll only be able to do so much here. We'll almost really have to focus more on the healing. As what do we have? We do have a very strong mix. Axemen. Although Axemen, well, Axemen aren't anti-infantry, aren't they? Yeah, they are. For a second, I was thinking that Axemen were the equivalent of spearmen for the Egyptians, but they're not. So yeah, very strong force, especially if he decided to start healing up this Wadjet. I'm at least fairly certain the priest can heal Wadjet with that move. I don't think it's just normal units. This is probably smart from farms. Just go forward with the cavalry and try to get some eco damage. You know you're going to get attacked, but you can probably hold out just fine with these units. You should be able to keep your eco fairly safe, especially you can just move those wood off. Your gold might be a little more in danger, especially since you don't have like a safe, easy gold off to the right side. But he should be able to defend just fine, which means he can push in for this attack. Although it is mostly Terma. It's interesting that he didn't decide to go for the, oh, I'm forgetting their name. The actual melee spears. Shoot, I just cannot remember it. Hopefully it'll come to me sometime later. But it is interesting going for Terma there. I mean, really smart in the overall right now, since slingers are so popular for Egypt because slingers are so strong. That Torma can just be a safe choice. You can probably assume that slingers are going to come out, so having that bit of anti-range can be quite useful. But it's going to be a situation where if things both sort of come together, it could even be more useful to have some up-front cavalry just so they don't get pulled apart by the Axemen. Although this many hero Murmillos could do quite well. He'll need to try to get them back to the Wadjet. I wonder... Okay. Decided to once again use both Shockwave and Calavera again. Or Carnivora, rather. Jeez. I don't know why my brain wants to say Calavera so much. I'm calling the Caladria, I'm calling Carnivora it. So this fight will healthily go in his favor, as he's able to build up enough favor to be able to use both of those. And this can be one of those great places where if he was being a little more aggressive with sky passages, he could have done something. Sometimes we'll see Oranos decide to just send a like deep citizen, especially since they like don't need a building to gather resources from. You could send one deep and then just have it start like collecting hunt for as long as it can. And then in a situation like that, you can immediately port through the sky passage, pop out, and start attacking, and actually be in an incredible position to immediately get some extra damage off. Either way, Farms is obviously a bit in the lead, but Soup is going to even things out fairly well. They'll probably get pushed off of this gold, and I wonder where Soup will send them instead. Probably out towards here. Although, at least Farms will be able to see it. Smart idea just parking a Torma over there so that he'll just know when it happens. Okay, decide not to fight it, just immediately pulling back and immediately going back to gold. I mean, Farms might as well stay in the area if Soup's gonna keep doing that. He could, even if he wanted, probably take his infantry and go throw them over on this side and just leave the Torma in this area to focus on any units that want to come back and try to actually mine the gold. Because it's definitely in his favor to keep him off of the gold. The longer you can keep Egypt off of gold, the better, obviously, as they're so dependent on gold. Random farm. That must be a misclick. Must have gone for one of his hotkeys and had a villager selected, and it just made a farm there. So Farms is going to lose this, it looks like. However, lose is an interesting statement because he'll have taken out so many laborers that he will like really have set Soup back a ways, especially with how long he also kept him off of gold with all those laborer deaths. He killed like, what, 15 of them there? 20, maybe even? If we assume that they were roughly even, then just over 20 laborers, and that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot. I'm assuming Farms is going to take as much advantage of that as he can, and I'd actually really like to see him like really take advantage of that and just go for another TC right now, or immediately start planning on getting towards that third age. With resources where they are, it's probably would be better to just grab that second TC so we can start getting even farther in the lead for Vil production. Is that... no, Empyrean Steed. Okay. And, wait, infantry speed? Okay. For some reason, I keep confusing the icon of that. I've probably mentioned it like 100 times because I can never get the icons right. But I keep confusing the icon of that with the Oracle upgrade that gives, makes all Oracles hero units. Citizens could be lost. Looks like one definitely will be. The rest will get out through the Sky Passage. Once again, that excellent ability of the Sky Passage. Just sent back there for safety. And that's one of those things with Oranos. I mean, he doesn't like have any like super surprising extra text or anything. It's really just some line of sight bonuses and his Sky Passage. But Sky Passage on its own can be so incredibly beneficial because it lets you be so much more risky and just get your units out completely safely. Shockwave and Carnivore coming down again. He's really relying that on for some of these big military engagements. I mean, it's worked once out of 2 times. Right now it's kind of split. It looks like it probably, yeah, it worked out for him again. If he hadn't used that, he would have lost this fight, but he does clean up just fine. Loses a lot of his units though. He really had to throw both of those down in order to win this. Tormas should do at least well forward. As long as they're both upgraded enough. I haven't seen quite as many upgrades come out from Farms during this as with others, although he has both of these Caladria to try to heal up units during this. Slow as much as that's going to actually do for them. And I wouldn't, yeah. I was gonna say, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes straight back to this gold and he at least was clicked onto it. may now get sidetracked with the fight. He's low enough that would probably hurt him to actually get in a fight right now. He kind of needs to focus up on healing as much as he can. Unfortunately, he keeps really using a lot of his favor in these fights, and if he keeps planning to do so, he really needs to keep upping his favor so that he has them available. Otherwise, I'd say producing a couple more Caladria would be a good call, just so he gets some more healing out for these units. Tormo will see this little army coming in, decides to just go towards the back and get some more gold damage. I wouldn't mind seeing him decide to just do one of the, a Carnivora near one of these, just to keep the laborers off of it for as long as possible. And this could be more dangerous. They're far enough away if Soup decides to go in deep first and then come up and cut them off. Yeah, so he might only get one, maybe two of them at most, because Farm saw it and reacted in time. Gets one, gets two, only two. Now, of course, citizens are worth more than for other civilizations, so even getting two is nice, but he, of course, I'm sure was hoping for more, especially since these just come out of the Sky Passage and are right there. Farms might want to take a second to just repair the Sky Passage. I know, as I was saying earlier, they are like so cheap that it's not necessarily super important, but not having to spend that money is always nice. Chaos is down. Really, the moment that he got up to age 3, he used Chaos to make sure he wins another battle. And Farms has been super reliant so far on these God Power usages to win these fights, but that has been working so far. The only real concern I would say going forward is if that continues to hold true, he could be in a kind of rough spot going into later points of the game, as these powers are going to continue to scale up, and very soon they're going to become kind of unreasonable to use. And so he won't really have them in these fights anymore. Then again, he might just be using them to make sure he wins these early fights so that he can keep pressure on Soup as he gets himself up into a nicer and nicer position. Unfortunately, it's going to be a lot... Well, it's not going to be that much harder to actually get pressure on this gold. It would still be worth it for him to try to do it as much as possible. These are all walled in, but he should be able to still go around. Oh, there's even a little bit of a gap there. Okay, so units can come in, although they could easily get stuck. One barracks goes down, but then the fight starts. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another shockwave. Nope, Carnivora instead use. I'm not quite sure on the Carnivora instead of the shockwave here. Carnivora is going to take a lot of damage before going down. That's going to be its main usage. I think probably throwing a shockwave could have done more, but don't listen to me. Farms is way better than me in this game, and this clearly worked out very well for him. Did push Soup off of gold once again, and managed to stop this extra temple from going up, which is nice. Plus got these Murmillos in here to also push him off of this gold. So this is yet more hefty damage to Soup. Although he has been doing a good job of slowly catching up each time on Vil count. That's in part because of the second TC. Citadel goes down for the outpost. That's what the outpost. This sort of outrider TC, which is good. It's going to help it stay up. He lost a couple barracks. That's not a big deal. It's mostly these villagers' losses that are going to actually hurt him. And I feel like, as good as this military is, Farms is going to need to do something more to really push Soup back enough where Farms is going to be able to turn this into an actual win. Right now, he doesn't have like a... I don't think he has a lot of like snowballing potential. And I must be completely wrong. As I was saying earlier, don't ever listen to me. Yeah. So, as I was saying, Farms was in a perfect position and Soup was going to have to give up. Because why wouldn't he in that position? There was plenty to snowball off of. That's 100% what was being said, as I'm sure you all noticed as you were listening. So, fantastic job from both players. Farms, in particular, did a great job with his farms. These farms were, as we could see, very OP. These won it for him. No, I mean, there's a lot of Oranos and being safe with these sky passages, which is just so nice. Farms did a great job maneuvering around the map and trying to make sure that Soup couldn't get things done. And unfortunately, I think a lot of what we saw earlier around this gold actually is what really kind of pushed towards this win. Soup ended up lacking gold for a little bit because of getting pushed off of this and lost so many villagers so many times. And almost... It's interesting that, like, even after that, he had only ended up doing, like, 2 barracks to try to actually protect this instead of just walling it in and then trying to upgrade walls even to keep him out more thoroughly. But I'm sure Soup had a plan, and there's a reason for not doing that. I'm not going to guess on it because I have guessed wrong so many times in this game. And so we're just going to call it there. I hope that you all learned a lot in this game about how snowballing works and how farms are in fact OP. Build them. Build 5 of them. I hope you all have a great day.